We're back, everybody. Thanks for coming back. I mean, we've been having a busy time, haven't we, Gareth? I mean, I've been busy doing lots of different things. I know you've been. What? Tell everybody what's been happening to you while we're here.
Well, absolutely, mate. I've been playing quite a few competitions. Been doing a lot of practice. Things have been going all right. I was up in Scotland, and I unfortunately had to pull out of an event-ish. Although I did, well, yeah, and for a twinge in my back, but I'm back now. You lot, so be careful.
You got a bad back, and you're down wounded buffalo, I think, on you at the moment.
I was literally, mate. I was literally down like a buffalo. Literally, the shirts, the theme was just absolutely, And but
Maybe
I
we
must
should
say,
get you a new bad back buffalo shirt, but
yeah, that'd be a good one. But yeah, we got a good show for you. So looking forward to it. We've got the one of the main guys of Q Runners on, Nick Renessis, and I cannot wait to have a chat with him many years, and let's see what he's got to say for himself.
Yeah, like I say, I'll get him on. I mean, we've been busy, been a while, but we had a few. We'll get him in. We've had a few technical problems today, or tonight rather, just trying to sort all this out to make sure everything's working. Now, Nick's here. He's there. He is in. He's not. He's using some shared Wi-Fi somewhere. Nick, thanks for coming on. We've been trying to get you on for a while, but everybody's been really busy, of course, doing lots of different things. Gareth's got a bad back. He's a wounded buffalo. Thanks for coming up. Whereabouts are you?
So I was practicing today because it's my day off in Spots and Stripes in London, and there's a premiere in next door, and I just thought I'd swoop in with the Wi-Fi because I couldn't get any quiet ambience. I can't. It's hard to find a quiet spot in London. So
Yeah.
at this time, I mean, even at home,
Hopefully,
it's
mate.
with the family and the kid, there's a bit too much noise. So I didn't want any
Yeah.
disturbance. So yeah, but yeah, thank
been
you
tough.
for having me on the stream.
No, it's brilliant, mate. Thanks for coming on.
It's been tough to get our schedules going, but Nick, it's good to see you at the end of the on the video, mate. Great to have you on the show, and it's going to be nice to interrogate you for a little while, see how things are, because you're one of the main guys of Q Runners, and I'm looking forward to exploring that bit.
Yeah, the Q Runners is a brand. A service that basically gets you cues secondhand, brand new, custom made. Mostly like from Asia at the moment, and I'm their brand ambassador, and mainly like we just it's all about trading cues for the community and helping out, trying to get everyone a better deal. As you know, pool cues are very expensive, so trying to save people an arm and a leg with the trades and with the custom orders where you can get everything custom made from any part of the queue. You can choose what material you like, what type of wood, wrap, joints, tips. We can get it done, and mainly from Philippines. Top three, you'd say like the top four queue makers we're actually using now. I mean, sorry, not using, but doing business with. So that's how we get queues for people who want something a little special, because like in America, at least in America, they have their own queue makers. In Europe, not so many queue makers are custom, apart from maybe Oran from Go Custom. But yeah, that's what they do, and we just hear it. We just hear if anyone needs anything. So yeah.
No, it's great. I mean, I think it's a really good idea. I mean, when I first started playing American pool, anyway, I wasn't aware of all these other different cues you could get. I just went to sports shop or looked a little bit online and just got the crappiest cue I could find. And once played in the proper tournament, I soon got found out with it. And then it was like, so there is hundreds of other different cues you could get. But as you say, I mean, it is pretty tricky getting hold of them in the UK. So I think what you're doing, it is a really good idea, and hope it carries on going well for you. And of course, maybe with GB9, of course, coming up, hopefully, I mean, he's going to have a big influx of a lot of other newer players looking to start out, possibly, especially with the way Matchroom's pushing American pool, of course, a lot of interest. So hopefully, yeah, it should keep on going well for you. But I just want to have a little talk. I mean, I know, I do know of yourself, not as well as Gareth, but just want to dig into a little bit of that backstory between you. Ben, I mean, how did you pair first meet, really?
You guys, you off on it, go on.
Oh my god. So I, so when I started playing pool in the Philippines, I was about 11, and I used to play up like before school, after school, and then weekends after I'd done my homework. When I arrived in London, I did not know where to play pool. When I came back, because I was born here, and I lived in Philippines from when I was 11, and I came back when I was about 13 on a holiday. I had no clue where to play. So, well, that's another backstory. But a year later, when I did come back to live in London, I found the Pro9 website. And sorry for the long-winded explanation, but this is how I got to know Gareth, because we had an online battle for some reason. I think he got grouchy one time, and then gave me a real ribbon, and we went for a lot of back and forth online. We were literally online warriors, and it was just a battle of a cussing match between a 15-year-old and a fully grown man. Gareth being the fully grown man, and me being the teenager. And I think years down the line, we actually finally met in a Croydon GBBA, GBBB9A. I forgot what the acronym was. Yeah. And I went up to him and I went, "Oi, you really want to pick a fight with me?" He just started laughing. I was like, "Is that you?" After all that. So my tag on that time was the Pretender. I used to call myself the Pretender on pro9.co.uk, and I think you've always been dark side, haven't you, Gareth? So yeah.
I have, mate, yeah. I used to love that site.
I think so, yeah.
Into that site. You know what I mean? I was gone.
So yeah, that was it was quite ironic, because when we finally did meet up, in Croydon, we just hugged it out, had a good, like a frame or two, had fun, and it was like nothing happened. But I was really bitter with him online, honestly. I was like, "Who's this guy, man? He keeps giving me a lot of stick online, man. I can't wait to see him."
There was a lot of good stuff that went on.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff online on Pro9 on the forums that used to go on. I mean, obviously a little bit quieter now because just the way the internet's developed. I mean, not many people are obviously using forums on websites like that. It's all through social media, of course, these days. But yeah, I mean, I was a
Dave
member
Knight, though, for having that available in those days, because if I didn't find that website, I wouldn't have a clue of what events were going on in the UK. When I was first back, I was in Mayfair in Tooting, where Tony Drago used to practice snooker, and then my other family friends who lived around Tooting as well, they took me to Clapham Riley's, and that's what changed it for me. Once I went to Clapham Riley's, I was like, cool, this is where I want to be, like around this, like, this is a pool club I want to be in, because they had like 12, 15 tables, whereas Mayfair had only 2 tables. There were dead rails, big bucket pockets, and red cloth. And I finally got to O'Reilly's in Clapham, and I met all these other good players, who are now like really good friends, and people I see in the pool community, like for instance GJ, who runs the SMB tournament in Acton. He was one of the first Filipinos I met. I met another guy called Tashunka, Ramon, of another Filipino, another guy called Sammy Lou, and they were like the Monday night crowd. And along with them, where they had, when I say Monday night crowd, the local comp in Clapham Riley's was a Monday, and you'd have the likes of Steve Knight coming down, Raj Hindle, Imran, So Sure. They were coming down to rob the comp. So after that, I saw these guys, and I was starstruck, because when I was growing up in the Philippines, I see Steve Knight on the TV, and I'm like, "Wow, who's this English guy?" You know what I mean? This English guy is really good. And then like watching him on TV in the Philippines, to like seeing him in person, and he's just a really cool guy, down to earth. And I was like, I was just like, wow. And yeah, R.I.P. for Steve Knight. He was like a big role model when I was growing up. Big role model for me when I was growing up, hanging out in Victoria Riley's, because I started hanging out there now when I knew and met all of them and realized they played in Victoria Riley's, and that was it.
That was the main hub
Nick, where
in
Yeah,
London.
that
one
got
point.
me.
We
Yeah.
had
came
to-
with that Victoria Riley's? What came with that Victoria Riley's, Nick?
No, it's dead now. In terms of like the community and stuff, I don't think anyone really goes there for like community stuff. I think you get like the other recreational players, the city boys. Don't quote me on that though, because I haven't been there for years. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who goes there to practice or brings it up. Like, yeah, we should go Victoria Riley's. Like, I don't think anyone's brought it up in a long time. The last tournament that I knew that was going there was SMB before they moved to Acton, like London Snooker Acton.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Um,
speaking about that community, I mean, you guys have got your own little community anyway. I mean, you got the queue runners thing, but there's a lot of you guys that all play together. You follow each other around. You do go around
Yeah.
different tournaments together. I mean, you just mentioned a minute about a few of the other guys, GJ,
Yeah,
a few of the others
that's
as
my
well.
big road there.
Yeah, you know, I
That's a
mean,
legend.
are you guys going to
Talking
start attacking more of these tournaments that are coming up?
Yeah, so ironically, like I also met him for the first time in Croydon at the same event where I met Gary for the first time. And later on in life, he's done T9 ball, right? So we got back together. I was like, oh, T9 ball, yeah, I want to support your event. I went to St Albans a long time ago, before they were going to Red Hill.
Yeah.
I went there once. I really enjoyed it. And then I told him about GJ, but ironically, I didn't really know GJ and him already knew each other. Because I dipped out of the community after I was hanging out in Victoria Riley's. I dipped out of the pool community because I got into the poker community, like the poker side of like clubs. Because as a kid, I was just chasing money. So if I couldn't money match in pool, which they got to a point where no one would play me for money apart from the better players, and I just thought rather than trying to give myself a hard time, I'll play poker. Anyway, diving off to another section, but yeah, yeah. So GJ he does SMB, Phil does T9 ball, London Snooker in Tooting. They asked me to try and do a tournament, and I refused simply because my job didn't have a set date, or didn't have a fixed rota where I could have secure days off. And I said,
Yeah.
no, I can't do it. But you could ask the other community, and thankfully, Andy Fan and Cyprian Dandu, the lead guys of London's Finest, just kept on doing their thing, and they worked with the communities. And as a community member, I just kept on introducing people to other tournaments out there. And I'm like, yeah, go to Nambo, yeah, go to SMB, go visit Scotland, or here's this Matchroom event. All the locals who go
Yeah.
to Tooting, I'm like, yeah, if you want to play tournaments, go meet London's Finest. That's our local crowd. Every Monday night there's a comp, an open comp as well, not a handicap comp. So you get your beatings if you get a big boy, you know what I mean? No handicaps there, so down like a buffalo. And then also they
That's
do
one thing
like
about you, Nick.
four seasonal.
One thing about you, really.
Huh?
So that's one thing about you, just love, which is great, and it so shines out of you. You love promoting the game. You know, even when we were up in Scotland just recently, McGoldrick's. You know, like I say, we spent a bit of time together, didn't we? You know, just have a little chat and that. You know, you've got nothing but love and passion to give the game, talk to people about it. So
Yeah,
it's good to speak like you out because you don't only to yourself, but to the growth of the game.
yeah. I'm very passionate about the game. You know, like when I was a kid, I really really just wanted to play like professionally, but it was just one of those things. Like my dad wasn't up for it. My mum wasn't too keen on it either. They were like, study first, and like, but in my head it was just like, oh, I just want to play pool. I just want to play pool, you know. And yeah, it just wasn't the case. Just wasn't meant to be, you know. As a young kid, even asking for support from other, you know, sponsors and people who could probably financially back me, they were asking me to get really good, try win some tournaments, make a name for myself. But unfortunately, you know, the game costs money, right? And as a young kid growing up, I didn't have much. And even when I did have it, I'd have to prioritize other things. So it was a struggle to get into the game like that.
Has it always been
I
pool?
could only dream of a Predator queue back in those days.
Has
You
it?
know?
I didn't even know what one was back in the day when I was
Yeah.
playing. But has
Well,
it only been pool though, Nick, that you've always done, or was it like English pool
I'm a bit.
before or snooker that got you into the cue
So
sports?
yeah, so when I was a kid, it was first a little snooker table with my godbrothers, People don't know what godbrother is. That's in the Christian community where your parents are like godparents to someone else, and then
Yeah.
their kids are like your
All
god
right.
siblings. So my godbrothers, we used to hang out every weekend, and they either have one of my godbrothers had a pool table or a small snooker table at home, and that's where it started for me. That's where I was like, oh, what's this? And then I dabbled, and then I got a little bit better every time we played. And then when I went to Philippines when I was 11, because my parents wanted me to go to school there, get educated there, I went with my cousin. I went out with my cousin on rollerblades, just to go skating. And after the sun was too hot at around 2-3 p.m. It was beating down now, and they were like, "Oh, we need to go somewhere else and chill. It's too hot to skate." So what shall we do? She's like, "Oh, let's play some pool." Like, pool. She's like, "Let's play some billiards," is what she said, because they call it billiards back then. I was like, "Billiards, billiards." I had no. And she's like, "Yeah, come, you enjoy it." He takes me to this ghetto pool shack, right? Like it's like bamboo hut, open front, 6 tables squished together, and I'm like, "Oh, pool." I was like, "Oh, pool tables." She's like, "Yeah, billiards." I was like, "All right, whatever, billiards." And I managed to break the table by accident because I slipped off my rollerblades while hanging onto this rack. So there's a rack on a pool table where you could collect the balls. It was literally on the edge of the table, and as I hanged onto it, snapped the thing off. And then from that day on,
Oh no.
my parents had to my parents had to come and help me with it, so give me some money to fix it. I explained it to them. I explained it to the owners, like, "Look, I'm sorry, I'm new." And then when they realized like I could fix it straight away, no problem, they're like, "Oh yeah, let's let him off." And I just kept on going there. And yeah, that's pretty much my background of playing pool from Philippines. Ironically, like when I came back on holiday, I came here for a holiday. Ironically, in third year of high school, and I asked my mum, like, "Can I get a pool cue, please? Because I really want to play. Like, I was up front. I just want to play pool." And she's like, "Cool. So, let's get you a pool cue." So I'm like, I'm getting excited. Meanwhile, I have no clue about cues, right? Absolutely no clue. And I go into this little store, this little sports shop, this local sports shop on Northcote Road in Battersea. It's called Capsticks at the time. You have like them really basic tennis rackets, basic badminton rackets, just everything basic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was this basic pool cue with the triple piece pool cues with the little metal rings.
Oh,
Have you ever seen
oh
those
yeah,
ones?
Yeah.
I
Did you
know,
have a
I know
screw on
that.
tip as well?
So I was like, "Oh, my first pool cue." I got excited, right? And I'm looking at it like, yeah, I didn't know about the tip. I didn't know about the little brass barrel. And
Screw on
I
tip.
just didn't care. I was like, "Oh, my own cue," right? Because every time I went in Philippines, I'm using rackers, innit? I'm like, we'll pick it for rackers. I didn't care. And yeah, it was my first cue, and I got so excited, man. And I wanted to go straight away play pool. Meanwhile, these are the times I never knew where to go, right? So I'm going to like Mega Bowl and all these little places where they got the little box tables. It's the only places I knew that had pool tables. I didn't know anywhere that had proper 9-foot tables. And when I took it to Philippines, I showed it to another guy who used to kind of like take me under his wing, and basically was teaching me little bits and pieces on how to shoot. And he said, "No, you need to get that customized." He said, "That shaft is no good." So he used to do a little splice for the shaft. He used a splice, right? Made a little splice, so it kind of like a snooker cue splice. And then he took a piece of wood called nara, which is really stiff. It's really stiff, heavy wood, nara woods in Philippines, right? And he made a splice, and he put those two pieces on together. And I've somehow got this custom English pool cue / Norwood. He's got me like fiberglass rings, right? Not a ferrule, yeah, made out of fiberglass rings. So these little pieces of fiberglass looking like hula hoops, like multiple stacks of them. I had like 7 rings, and it would just look like like red, white, blue, yellow as a ferrule, and then a tip on the top, and that was my cue. And I tell you what, when I came back and I was like 14, they were like, "Who's this kid, man? Who's potting balls?" and, and this is it, like that's all that I was using at the time. Like, I think Ken Doherty's a £2 cue. I think I was showing, Stephen Hendry a £17 cue. And me, it was just
Yeah,
this
fair enough.
crazy customized cue. Well,
Did you play in your
that's where I
rollerblades
really got
as
the
well,
bug.
though? That's
That's where I got the bug about customized stuff. That's where I first got into it. Like, oh wow, this is customized.
That's a
Like, this is me. Like, no one else has
a
this.
little bit
That's a
too
great story.
customized for me, I think.
Very customized, right? Well, yeah. That was my first experience of
Have
having
you still got the queue today, Nick?
a proper custom queue.
Have you still got it, Nick? He was saying there.
No, so I was playing GJ one time when I was a kid, and the queue dropped, and the fiberglass ferrules just cracked. All the hoops cracked, gone,
Ah,
and it was like this piece of wood and a tip on top, looking like a little tree. So I was like, oh, like, what do I do? They're like, no, it's done, mate. It's done. It's done. And I didn't know about John Paris at the time. He could have fixed that, but I couldn't be bothered. And GJ sold me he sold me some other Filipino cues, some Pampanga cues, and I was like, yeah, that'll do. So I picked up them two, and that was it.
what's that?
The
Is that a brand, is it?
spiraling rabbit hole of pool cues, you know. Sorry, Gareth. What did you
Is
say?
that a brand, isn't it? Is that a brand?
Is that around?
Is that a round or a brand of cues or something? Popong or whatever you said.
Oh yeah,
Right.
them cues I sold off a long time ago. I would go back and forth buying and selling cues back in those days. I never kept a cue. I literally didn't care too much in those days about
Yeah.
having my own cue.
Going back on to queue runners, Nick, I noticed that you got people like Jess Balmutra and Carlo Balassi involved. Are they involved in the same depth as you are?
Yeah, so
Runners?
yeah, so what I agreed with my cousin who actually has queue runners as a business. What I agreed with him was to help. I said I thought a good idea was to help out some other kids if they need bits and pieces like equipment and stuff. And I was just like picking players who I thought were really good and might need a little bit of a, like a little bit of a push for whatever they need. We don't necessarily sponsor these guys like that. We just help them out wherever we can. So, like for instance, Jazz Promotra is also representing us as queue runners. Like we sorted him out with like a playing queue and a breaker and a case. We got another player, Salman Galami, and we give him a whole kit as well. Carlo hasn't actually needed anything from us really, and I actually feel bad because he actually wears our patch. But he's a real good kid, man. He's loving it. He's a nice, cool man. I'll use it anyway. I'll wear it anyway. But yeah, if there's any support I might need down the line, I'll let you guys know. Yeah, of course. And then we also got Zerk, who's another great kid. He's not really a kid actually. Come to think of it, he's in his 30s, but he's a good player from Philippines, and he had a career back home as a pool player, but when he come over here, he had to prioritize his family. So yeah, like whatever way we can support other players that get involved with us, and if we see fit that they need a bit of support, I like to get involved and like, yeah, here you go, because I know what it felt like when I was young, when I couldn't get support, I couldn't get people backing me, I couldn't get people to buy me equipment. My parents weren't too keen on spending too much money, and it was always a hustle. It was always like grind a fivers, grind a tenors out of people, buy a little cheap pool cue, try get a little discount. You know what I mean? Haggle. And ironically, yeah, sometimes I lose a pool cue or two, or I'll lose a bit of money just to get to the equipment. So I was going in and out of equipment in those days as well. Me and Tash, Tashunka, me and Tash used to use a BK1 only as a player and a break cue.
Oh wow!
And we used to have a little bungee on the side as well, like a Type A bungee for 20 quid. And I think Imran used to be selling them in those days. You come from holiday, they got little bits. We've got one of Imran and 20 quid. I was like, oh, that's a jump queue for 20 quid. There you go. Bob's your uncle, BK1 and a bungee. Sorted. You've got every piece of equipment. So, I was in and out with equipment because I just knew.
Yeah, Imran was always meant to get stuff. When I started out, I started out with a queue, and within a week or so, he sold me my first Predator. Funny enough, I've still got it totally fallen apart. I've kept a souvenir, and it's just in a case. Imran was always too back in the day, but But what move forward, Nick? What's your plans for like the tours and things like that, the matchroom events and things like that? You think of getting onto them next year?
Yeah. So personally, I have a lot of support in terms of like London Snooker London Snooker in general. I mean, the management. Shout out to Asif Khalik. A lot of support from him. So He said, anything you need, Nick, I got you. 6 hours practice if you need it. Ironically, it's like it's morning times, which is perfect.
Yeah.
But my job requirement is day shift 11 to 9 o'clock. So 11 in the morning till 9, and then night shifts
Right.
from anywhere between 2 o'clock starts till like midnight up till 11 midnight till 9 in the morning. So unfortunately, I can't even utilize the practice time that I get. However, on my days off, I can. I've got a lot of support from the Sports and Stripes community as well. All the good players like Tash, Ramesh, Spencer, all the great players. They give me a lot of tips and tricks. I've had coaching with Rico Dix, which I really recommend if you're an American pool player and you want to play like an American pool player, to learn from Rico Dix. He's really got great insight to the game, and his analysis of how you move as well is great, and he doesn't change you too much. He lets you play how you want to play.
Yeah.
So I've got all this support. I've got a few runners, but in terms of like family, my kids, work, it's still priority. And I don't want to put it all on the line trying to win tournaments. And I'll be honest, I'm not even like above global average. So I enjoy the game. I'll play when I can, but until I can make a certain amount of passive income where I don't have to worry too much about making money, then yeah, I would gladly dive into it in the future. But I really enjoy right now the local events, which is like the T9 ball events, the Dasha and Gideon Filipino handicap event. I say most of them are Filipino. They're in St. Albans.
Is that one?
So
I've seen
T9
one.
ball. Unfortunately, I can't make too many of the London's finest events, which are the local ones, on Sundays or Mondays. Ironically, they're the guys I support the most, but they're the events I can't do because they're the day off I have where I have to take care of my family, my kid, and GJ as well, like with SMB on Sundays. So I like those local tournaments, and for me, that's more than plenty for me to I just like having a good chinwag and seeing people play, socializing. If I can improve, I can improve. If I can't, keep going. In terms of matchroom events, I just when the time's right, I'll play them. The level's so high, but I would definitely recommend anyone who wants to get into like professional pool that you should play a matchroom event, regardless of what skill level you are. One, if you play a matchroom event, you'll get experience of playing better players. Second, if you were to buy a ticket to a matchroom event, you'd probably spend about maybe 3 or 4 times more to get a chance to play the event. So why not just play the event and get free tickets? Does that make sense, guys? So
Yeah.
like the UK Open,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
we forked out what? We forked out like what, 180? Was it 180 quid at the time? So
Yeah.
that's about 4 or 5 tickets. They give you that many tickets anyway. You know what I mean? So if you play the tournament, they'll give you that many tickets for free anyway to give to your friends and family.
You'll be
So
having
it
Emily
just makes
Fraser
sense
on
to
your
just,
back soon.
you know, and it's not about, oh, I'm not good enough, or what am I trying to do? Forget all that. Just gain an experience. And the thing is, when you're actually playing those events, right, you get to talk to the players. You get to dive into their heads, ask them questions. I'm not saying bug everyone. I was a bit of a funny one in the UK Open. I was walking around with a set of pool balls. All I wanted was signatures. I just wanted autograph pool balls. But yeah, I was talking to a couple of players, especially the Filipinos. I got to see the Filipinos, chat to them, and it was fun. And yeah, if you want to just pick someone's brain about the game, for instance, Carlo, I think he spoke to Mickey Krause, and they played some English pool in between tournament time. Spoke to Mickey
Yeah.
Krause. Mickey Krause told him about Philippines, and I think really realized that Philippines is a great place to go. And he just did it. He just went. He went with another friend of ours, Mark Capito, and he got to experience playing in the Philippines, which is a
Yeah.
completely
I do
different
know.
world. Completely different world of pool playing in UK. And I know this firsthand because I grew up there. You know,
Yeah.
like explaining to someone that you play on an 8 foot table with powder all over the table, dry heat, Yeah. Constant people going up to you, going, "Do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy some peanuts? Do you want to?" People trying to sell snacks to you while you're having a money match. It's just different, you know. Like the distractions are next level. So when I came back here, I was like, everyone's so fussy. What's with all this etiquette? You know, I didn't get it. I didn't get why people felt so distracted. But eventually, over time, I realized, like, yeah, actually, when you're used to that environment, it can be a bit hard to focus. But to get all those distractions hitting that is really good for focus. Really good focus. But yeah, you can pick people's brains, like all the players' brains. You can ask them questions, and most of the time, you're gonna have a great conversation with these players. The community is pretty good. I don't think there's one player who I've met and I just thought, nah, I've had a bad experience talking to him so far. Anyway, but yeah,
Are
I
you going
really
to go
had a
on the
great time.
UK Open next year?
If it's around May, if it's around the same time, and if I can afford it within my budget, then yeah, I could. But the thing is, I felt bad because this year I really spent a lot of my holiday time playing these tournaments, and I feel I need to give some towards more my family. Luckily, at the end of like June, July, I was like, nah, I'm gonna commit more of my holiday to my family, more of my holiday time to my family. So that's
Sure.
basically what it
Yeah,
is. It's the work life balance and home as well, you know. So
yeah, you've got to get it right. I mean, if you're
yeah,
playing pool tournaments and you sort of not doubting yourself, but you sort of thinking about, oh, well, really, I should be back at home or I should be doing this.
yeah.
It's not helping the game
I am
either, when you think about.
literally the average man that wants to play pool full time. That's it. But it's also like you know where your boundaries are. You know you're not good enough. You know what level you need to get to. Until you get there, maybe you can do something. But common sense, stick to your guns, make the best income possible. As my one of my favorite players now, in terms of mindset, Oscar Dominguez, as he says, get your bankroll right first. Your bankroll comes first. If you ain't got a bankroll, you shouldn't be playing pool like that. You shouldn't be gambling or money
Yeah.
management is key. So I'm a big believer in that as well.
Well,
One of my
do you
greatest
play?
downfalls.
I was going to say, do you play many money matches in the
No, I don't. I'm not.
like little
I'm more
ones?
of a. I'm more of a cup of tea and lights man. So I'm all up for like race to 15 for the lights. No, I would, but like I said, until I got a bankroll to do it, there's no gambling at all.
Yeah,
Many a time when I was younger, I made that mistake where I'd go all in with my last 5 quid, my last 10 quid when I was a kid, and it's not the way forward. So I'm
if you
not doing
don't
that,
feel
especially now with
not right
responsibilities.
for it either, I mean, it's going to ruin your game. I mean, if you're not ready for it really, and
Yeah, but
financially or mentally, you're playing these games, and you see a lot of this go on all the time in English pool. You got players
yeah,
who are, oh, he's having a money match, so I'm going to have a money match, and they get these
yeah.
games and they just play complete and utter shite. And it's because they're not used to the difference of playing a game like that. It's playing a money match with 20 or 30 hostile people wanting you to lose is a different experience to playing a tournament.
But that's what it's like in Philippines as well.
Yeah.
Where like I don't know if you quickly were to Google search on YouTube Filipino pool match money match Filipino pool money match or something like that, right? You'll find something eventually where you've got like 20, 30 people around you doing side bets in between each frame.
Yeah.
Uh, it's no different to seeing them have like a I don't know, we call it sabong, right? But it's a cockfighting chickens.
Oh,
It's no different to
yeah.
a cockfighting arena where people are side betting on the roosters as who's going to win the battle to the two pool players who's going to win the next frame.
Buffaloes are not
The
really
noise the
buffaloes
noise is
instead of
intense.
roosters.
Yeah, the noise is intense. Like everyone's screaming, "Oh, 5-1 or bet two. Whoever scores the one ball, whoever's going to down the seven ball." They're betting on which ball they. Every sort of like side that you could think of, they're doing it. They're thinking it. You know, it just goes. It's mental. It's a different experience. And like Carlo said when he went out there, he's like, "Bro, I really appreciate it. It's so different. It's
Did
so
he come
different."
back with much money?
Uh, he said towards the. I think I was told by Mark Capito that towards the end he got his money back. In the beginning, he was struggling to adjust because obviously different conditions, right? Dry heat, slow tables. And that's why the Filipinos play the way they do with a lot of spin and stuff, right? They rely on the spin to maneuver the ball. And yeah, he caught up, but I'm not too sure. I didn't ask him too much. When your friends come back from Vegas, you just say, you don't want to say did you win, you just say did you have fun, and usually they say if they won, like, yeah, I won, man. So I didn't want to. I just said, did you have fun? He's like, yeah, I had fun, man. That's good. He didn't say too much about winning, so I've got no clue. But
It's the
yeah, I think
experience
it was
as
a
well,
great.
though.
I think it was a great experience for him overall. Anyway,
Yeah.
he got to play with like C class players, D class players at first. Even with C class players, it was a struggle. And then he got to play with like the B class players. And then the little nutter, he was like, I want to play like, he wants to play like the all Colios and these like top end guys. And it's like, bro, just start with those first, And Mark was telling him, start with these guys first. If you do well, then yeah, obviously. But yeah, regardless, he had a hard time, and it was good experience for him. So yeah, good on him, man. Like
I'll be worried. I would if I went
he's
over there playing and I was like, oh, I'll look at these C class, but I'll be like attacking these D class players, and if we beat them, I'll be worried. Are they going to like bloody
yeah.
like get me or something? If you start
No,
putting them over, are
no,
they all
because
right with you?
he was in the right hands because he went over there with Mark Capito, and that's basically his hometown. So everyone knows Mark. Everyone's
It's
okay
not
with him.
like
Like
Tom Cruise in The Color of
he's
Money,
like the
where he
cool
just
guy. He's like the
gets
cool
his
guy.
doom out.
He's like yeah. Mark is like the cool guy of his area. Everyone knows him. And then like obviously if Carlo's with him, you don't mess with Carlo because he's with him, and so he was all right.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
so
But so he had
basically what you're saying. If you want to play in the Philippines, you've got to have someone who's already in the know. You can't just rock up and
so
get your queue out. You got to have
yeah.
some
So what I would say is
help.
if you go to a province, you better know someone, right?
Yeah,
If you go to like a province area or a village, like know someone. Otherwise, they might let you off because you're a foreigner, or someone might get angry. It can go both ways. But if you're in the city, most of the times, if you go to the pro spots, I'm sure they're very catering and they've got great hospitality. Like um, the Marboys Pool Club, I'd love to go there because that's the hangout for like Anton Raga, Biardo, those guys, the top end guys who play now. And there's another one called Sharks where the stream for the tournament was in the Sharks Arena.
yeah. Is that the main one now over there, the Sharks place?
For
Because it's
the
doing lots.
Matchroom Pool event, they put an event there. But for me personally, I think Marboys is a place. If you go Philippines, if you go Manila, visit a place called Marboys. They got the best players, like practicing there, hanging out there. So you could pop in there. You might see Bustamante, you might see Biado, you might see Aranas. Um, if like obviously Chua, and then if you see like um, if Anton Raga's going in and out of Manila, he'll go there as well.
Yeah, whatever came with
Maroto.
Alcano. Because after he won World
Alcano.
Champions, yeah, whatever came with him, he won World
I mean, I don't want to
Championship,
speak too much. I don't want to speak too much on people, but he's a character, isn't he? He's a character.
absolutely. But no, but
He's got like a Manny Pacquiao. He's got a Manny Pacquiao logo tattooed on his forehead.
God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you look at him closely, if you see him, he's got dedication to whoever wants to support him and back him. Do you remember when he got sponsored by Viking and he got the Viking tattoo?
Oh, so he's
You know about
got
that? He actually got a Viking tattoo, like the Viking logo tattooed on him. And then now Manny was sponsoring for a bit. He got the MP tattoo on as well. He is a definite character. He's a great player, awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's one of the.
Yeah, great.
I think he's one of the strongest money match players out there as well.
Right, so he's still playing now.
He's still playing. I think more locally, like more Philippines. I haven't seen him. Has he come up in any other tournaments as of recent?
No.
I haven't really seen him. I haven't seen his name pop up. But I think he's been doing well back home in Philippines. I think he's just doing all little bits and pieces, money matches, local tournaments. I think he still plays them. Don't quote me on this, but I think there was a bit of drama with him and another player on a stream one time, and they were saying like they might be It might be like colluding or something, or sandbagging for whatever. I don't know. I don't know the full details, but yeah, I think there was an issue, and then I think that's been sorted now. I'm not too sure, but he's still playing. But most of these guys back home, like, you know, these unknown people, like, they're just, you know, there's so many great people in the Philippines that no one knows. They just haven't had the one last push to go abroad. You know, they just have to stay on the island as well. It's still old school where they don't want to get known if they win a tournament or something, and then no one's going to play them for money. But ironically, nowadays, a lot of money matches in the Philippines are streamed. People stream them on their phones now, so people get exposed anyway that they're a good player. You know, it's a different level now.
Yeah.
Like everyone can't hide. Like, money match. Oh, let's make content out of that.
Who's the number one sort of money player? Gareth just said.
The number one what?
Player.
The number one tournament player.
Well, both tournament money player in the Philippines. You think?
I mean, there was a Fargo rating list a while ago, and there's like 30 players from Philippines. I think this was just after UK Open, and also the Philippines just done their event. There was 30 people after that event on the Sharks in Matchroom. Sorry, the Sharks event, which was with with Matchroom. There was a list, and 100 players out of the whole world, 30 of them were Filipino. But ever since then, I don't know how it's changed. But as you can see, as of recent, like Anton Raga and I think, was it Aranas? Or no, it was Aranas and Raga got top 64, and then they pushed another top 32. I think it was in Qatar. Qatar Open, I'm not too sure. And then, you know, like, they just do well, man. Like, you know, like, they usually hit the top 64s, top 32s. I can't pinpoint who the best player is.
Dennis,
and they all know between themselves as well. Like, they can't pinpoint who the best player is. They just say, like, if it's your day, it's your day between them. You know, if we're talking about stats and how often these guys play for money, you know, I mean, Polio is one of them. I mean, he cleaned out over in America. You know what I mean? Cleaned out to a point where someone just got pissed off and just said, you know what, this guy ain't got a visa. this guy ain't got a proper visa. We can get rid of him, you know. Yeah, so he got banned. I think he got banned for that reason. Something about a green card issue. Same with Aranas at the time. I just think they were just, you know, like, tired of these guys robbing everyone. So yeah, like Aranas and, you know, Okolio, they made their mark over there. Come to think of it, Raga went over there and was looking for action. He was asking around. Everyone wanted to start. Everyone knew who he was because of streams, and they were just like, yeah, they just wanted to start. By the way, I don't talk to these guys personally. I'm just letting you know now. I'm just a fan. I follow these guys. You know. I did meet them. I met Biardo, Aranas, and Kyla Maroto at the UK Open, and they're cool, man. Some cool cats. But Amaroto is he cracks me up. He's really like a little kid to me, you know. Like, he acts so quite fun, bubbly, childish, but he's a sick player. When it's time to snipe, he's the sniper, you know. So I think the sharpshooter. That's it. When it's time to snipe, he's the sharpshooter, you know. That's what they call him. But yeah, I enjoy the game regardless if I'm playing tournaments or not. If I have to work and then play, I just love playing pool, man. Really enjoy it. I wish I was better at trick shots like masses and jump. I wish I could do them consistently. If I could do them really consistently, I'd love it. And it's mostly a lot of my play style has got a lot of them shots as well, so I'm quite fun to watch as well. A lot of people say,
well,
I've got to do one trick per tournament.
A few videos on your Q runners, haven't you, and your profile? You know, where you're doing some of these little trick shots and other shots.
I always try to pull one off as well. I'll do something really low percent for the sake of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll always go for it. And
you can try our blindfold challenge shot if you like.
That is a very 0% for me, mate. I don't know what
you had to go at it.
You got to give us a go.
Watching that was just like, oh god, I'm gonna fail that. I'm gonna get it done sometime, and then I'll
Mate,
send
you
it
got to
over.
give us that. I mean, I come up with that like idea in my mind, and I actually thought it would be really easy to do it. And you know, on the video
Hell
I did,
no.
it was one attempt. I did do it on one attempt,
I
and
tell you what's sick
it
is
was a
when I
lot
think
harder than I thought it was.
I'll tell you what's sick. Al Qaeda and FSR, they sat from a chair, looked at the table, put a paper bag on their head, and then walked towards the table and then hit the ball.
Oh, that's
I
what I
think
was
one
sort
of
of
them.
kind of, yeah.
I saw their one, and I think one of them even potted the ball, and I said, "That's just nuts. How'd you do that? Sat in a chair,
Yeah.
paper bag on your head, walk to the table, queue up, pot. How?
It was hard.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
mate. I was lucky to hit the ball, and I've got a few other people have done it actually, and no one's potted it. You know,
It just goes to show how we step into the ball as well. You can memorize the vision, but then once you step in,
it's
you know,
it's
you know what I mean.
totally different.
It's totally different. But
Yeah,
yeah,
That's about
it's been quite funny
three
watching everyone take a crack at it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm dreading
Beefy
it
buffalo
really. But
wings, mate.
yeah, we've all gone down like a buffalo. We've all miscued so far. I think I'm gonna miscue when I do. I've got a big chance up because I've got that wonky cue action as well. So
well, my point, I thought it'd be easy because you're standing up at a shot. You know where when you're standing up, your feet are in the right place. You know you can just drop down and
yeah,
get the ball.
if
My
you've got that
logic
Willie
was like,
Mosconi stance, where you don't get down, you could get away with it. You
maybe,
could get
yeah,
away with it. Like
but it's,
another guy here, Borax. Shout out to Guer Borax, yeah, Filipino guy. He does not get down. He's like he looks up, stand up, boom. There's another guy called Boyo. He shoots like that as well. Doesn't get down too low.
Oh, right,
Shoot
yeah.
like
I just
Willie
can't do
Mosconi
that.
style.
I mean, I
Yeah.
can't understand how people. I mean, for me, I have to get as like
Pe-
my chin on the cue, classic snooker stuff, so I can see the line. I just don't. I can't see. What can I just don't know how people do
So
it. I
many
mean,
people in America, you know, they always use the cue like that. Certain areas
yeah,
go low.
What's standing up?
Snookers, I've never seen. You know, like they even suggest to get a better vision of the shot. Sometimes stand up. They've written it in books. Like, you know, if you need to get a better vision, maybe it's good to stand up as well.
yeah.
You know, it is
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah.
Play how you feel comfortable. So
Yeah, when I used to play,
yeah.
when I used to play in the States in the early 2000s, there was quite a few people that used to stand up and play. You know, so it is a technique, isn't it? You know what I mean? Not for us over here playing snooker and that, you think, what the hell's that all about? But in the
Yeah.
world,
I
it is
mean,
a good technique.
you got other players who have, you know, they got like a cue action like that to the side.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you get all sorts in Philippines, queuing like that,
yeah,
queuing like this. You know, the old Efren and Busti style. And I think
yeah,
because they used to queue like that, obviously, like everyone around them grow up queuing like that as well.
Yeah.
But it's only, I think, as of recent, I think that there's been more accuracy of like stance and stuff. I think that improved with all the coaches that have built the um, built the community around professional cue sports in the Philippines. We've even got snooker players as well. Like apart from also with Karam and snooker, there's a lot of other disciplines that have Filipino players for them as well. So it's quite interesting. So I think obviously with the snooker formalities of stance, I think that also influences other players. Like, oh, you know what? If you play snooker, you gotta be this accurate. And if you see like Chua playing the hay ball events as well, you know, you can't mess around with them Chinese 8 ball tables. You know what I mean? You got to be
Yeah.
accurate as well. So you know,
mm.
it's key to be very very accurate in stance and in form.
It's
So
the
yeah, I think
consistency thing as well,
that's
isn't it? I mean, you know, if you can consistently approach each shot the same way, in theory, you know, you are going to make more shots.
I
Well,
think
that's
that's
the
something
logic.
that's evolved in the Philippines in terms of like play style and you know form stance. It wasn't like that from what I remember when I was growing up there. Now it's just like there's a lot more accuracy, like levels of accuracy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you look at say about the snooker and you know, the differences there. I mean, you look at some of these top, not just Filipino players, but top American pool players across the world. And when you compare the top players to a top snooker player, a lot of them are completely different. I mean, you haven't got the classic pause before striking. It's very sharp and snappy, and then there's hardly any. It's just straight through with the shot. It's like I say, it is completely different to a lot of other players, really. It's less traditional, but as you say, I mean, a lot of that is going that way now. So interesting. I mean, we'll wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean,
I do like the Chinese. I do like the Chinese ball, the Chinese 8-ball though.
I love Chinese. I love Chinese 8-ball.
yeah,
Yeah, I do.
I love I love the fact that they made that table to kind of bring all the disciplines together. Like, you know, the
Sure.
snooker players could appreciate it because of the pockets, the distance. The American pool players could appreciate it. The English pool players could appreciate 8-ball on a bigger table. I think it brought the pocket players together a bit more. In China, they even play 9-ball as well. I mean, they've got the 9-ball events as well, right? On the Chinese tables. So I actually thought maybe in the future all the tables would be like that, but I don't see it happening at the moment because everyone just loves tradition in America, and you wouldn't hear the end of it from them. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, I
But
do like the Chinese 8-ball game, but I think, I mean, for a lot of players, they will follow the money. And to be honest, I mean,
yeah,
that's where a lot of the money is. But speaking about things, obviously, there's a lot of stuff, as we know, going on with the WPA, and obviously Matchroom and things like that. I'm conscious of the time, and we've been at this an hour early, but just one. Before we do call it a night, I do want to get your sort of personal opinion on that. I mean, have you got an opinion on that?
yeah, it's pretty
Or
simple. Look,
okay,
WPA, Matchroom, can't we all just get along? Just let everyone play. Just let everyone play. Like, let everyone play what they want to play, man. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean,
That's the reality.
That's all it is. You know, people just want to compete and want to be able to say I'm the best at the end of the day. And the bigger the prize pot, the more appreciation to the players who actually dedicate their time and life to this
yeah,
game. You know,
Yeah, the
a
thing
lot
is,
of these players are playing 10 hours a day.
the WPA events are actually starting to pay out some good money. Like say 50 grand for the winner of that Qatar Open. Even the Michigan Open,
Yeah.
it was like 25 grand for the
Well,
winner.
I don't want to know. I don't really know the ins and outs of whose pocket the money's coming from or whatnot. And it is in an Arabic, it is in like in a, Middle Eastern country, and they got a lot of money. So I don't know who's paying for what bill. However, like the Matchroom events that have been supported by Matchroom to be, part of the tour, not all of them are massive payouts, but there's still big money to be won.
Yeah.
It's the quantity of them as well, though, isn't it?
Goldrick's like Jacoby Open, that wasn't something to be snuffed at. That was quite a bit of money in there for what tournaments we have usually in UK. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
place that is up in the gold. Beautiful place.
Beautiful club. Yeah, as Gareth was saying
it's an amazing club, guys. If you can ever get the chance, whoever's watching or listening right now, if you ever get the chance to go to Scotland, visit that club. If you really love pool, visit McGoldrick's, because then you'll see like what could be if other clubs followed suit. Like, it's amazing what they do over there. Hopefully one day other clubs will pay more attention and show as much love and effort as the owner of that club, because it's just too good.
Yeah, just have a do tour today,
Just shout out to Elliot as well, Elliot Sanderson, for putting on great tournaments in that club as well, and great opportunities for the.
They've just announced a new tour today. Actually, five tournaments.
For a McGoldrick tour, yeah.
Yeah, for next year. So I'm gonna play in them. So and I went to the other one. The other one I just played in was that Wallace Quinn. That was absolutely cool.
Wallace Quinn,
great. What a great event! They've got a great event on up there. And,
yeah.
I've
got to take it easy at the moment on the tournament. So I've got to like do some money saving and investing, and then hopefully in the future if I can do it full time along with other things where I'm self-employed, then I could probably dive in a bit more. But I'm just gonna sit back right now, focus more on like getting my play at a certain level, play the local tournaments, stick to the local tournaments. I'm happy to play my handicap tournaments. I'm happy to play T9B, SMB, if possible, St Albans. If I can start winning in those, then it's a clear sign that I'm getting them better. So until then, I'm just going to be, you know,
Is
very.
GJ's competition handicap?
GJ's SMB tournament is a handicap event, guys. So
Right. Okay.
so T9 will do different. They do different types of events now. They do open events, group stages, handicap, double eliminations. SMB is a double elimination. I think the majority of the time I've seen his event, they're capped at like 24 players. So it's not too much of a heavy event either, like not a lot of waiting time. London's Finest is a 32 group stage event where I think it's eight groups of four.
Yeah.
Is it 8 groups of 4? 4, 8, 12, 16. Yeah, 8 groups of 4, and then the top 16 go to a knockout elimination stage, single knockout, and I think that's a great format as well. T9B do multiple formats, but I love it. I love what everyone's doing in London. I'm pretty happy to be in London and playing whatever I can. Oh yeah,
Well,
and the Dash and Gideon, they do their event, the Dash and Gideon community, which is also known as the Sargo community. Sargo in our language in Filipino means break shot. So the Filipinos get the locals from St Albans as well, whoever's nearby, to come down and play a handicap tournament. That's a -3 and a +3 event handicap. And
Right.
I think they got quite a few runners as well. I think they had like 40 runners at one point, maybe a bit more. But yeah,
it's
that's
them little
decent. That's a
tournaments.
decent double elimination in St Albans.
Them little tournaments, Nick. I know you want to say you keep going. Oh, you get a game where you want it to be.
I'm not,
Playing in those little
they're,
tournaments will help. Is what will help you to get
yeah.
to that.
And
stage.
they're not little, you know. They're not little.
No,
like they're local. Like
Well,
the people,
local's probably a better
the
word.
people who go to them tournaments. You can't snuff at them, man. I'm telling you, you can't just snigger at these guys. These guys are killers, man. Too good at this game. Like I'm happy I'm a +3 because I'll have a chance. You know what I mean? when I get like a -1 or a -2, I still get a body bag. You know, I still get beat. It's sick. It's sick. You know, like if you go to like T9 and you walk into like Phil Wildman or So Short and they're like -4, it's horrible when you're losing with a +3. But it just is what it is. They're just that good, you know. Like yes, it is a lot of weight, but if you make a mistake and you don't make do with it, doesn't really matter, you know.
Yeah.
They can clear up on you as much as you can have that handicap at start. If you're not going to make do with, you know, practicing and getting better yourself, it won't mean much because these guys are just that good. But also, like I said, it's just great. It's great to watch players, see how they play, learn from watching people play. Trust me, that if you're watching this podcast, watch people play. Watch people better than you. Watch how they move the ball. If you don't understand what they're doing, just ask them. Like, how did you do that shot? You never know. They might answer you. It's not like the olden days now. People used to hide their techniques. You know what I mean? You know how like Buster Money was on TV, and he would like aim bottom left, but then when he takes a shot, he'll go to top right. You know, they were trying to hide their shots. They don't do that now. No one does that. It's all about accuracy now. You know what I mean? But people will share techniques. There's a lot of info on YouTube. But yeah, definitely, like, these tournaments are just more than enough fun for me. If I do improve and I get better, and like I said, if I get more passive income or more support, more sponsorship, I might just dive into it full time. My main goal, obviously, like apart from pool, is to be a streamer and my other entrepreneurial investments as well. So, like, mainly that. I love content. I love social media as well. So,
well, it's just the way the world is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just that's where I'm trying to go. That's the direction I want. I want to get into content, and if I get any sponsors or sponsorship that can keep me afloat and support, keep my family, you know, secure, then yeah, obviously 100% I'll do it. You know, until then I've got to bide my time. You know, do what's right.
Well, yeah,
Bills
brilliant.
need to be paid, mouths need to be fed. So yeah.
Yeah, you've always got to prioritise what is most important, of course. But Hey, look, it's been great having you on. I mean, some great info on the Philippines there. You were saying when you growing up and things. One of the things we always do, I say always do. I was supposed to do it. Well, we were supposed to do it with Alison Fisher last time we had her on. Wanted her to ask a question for us to give to the next person that was on. Now, I think we just got carried away that much talking with her that we didn't even ask her in the end because I was trying to see if I did earlier, but I didn't. But have you got a question you want to ask for the next person we
Yes,
get on? And then obviously we'll get
I
their.
have a question. All
Okay.
right, can we bring back the purple four ball and the orange five ball within the next 2 decades? As far as how clear and quality our cameras are now, there's no lighting issues in seeing a ball with color no more.
Yeah.
You know how
Definitely.
we used to have the pink before because the four was a bit hard to differentiate from the two balls. They ain't there no more. That's done. We got
Yeah. Yeah.
HD, 8K, LED lights. Come on now, bring it back.
Yeah.
Purple four ball,
Yeah.
orange five ball.
Certainly put that to whoever's on next for us. I mean, I, get confused depending on what tournaments I'm playing at these
Well,
days. I don't know what
the
colours
kids
ball
nowadays
these.
won't. But us, us OG, old generation kids, lot, we're like, oh yeah, that ball's changing. Oh yeah, that ball's changing again. Like, it's just long. But can I just shout out to my sponsors, by the way, if
I was
that's
going
all
to ask
right?
you that. I mean, yeah, how
Yeah,
do everybody find you on your social media, Nick? Because obviously you want you to get that out as well. So
yeah.
let everybody
So
know where to find you.
yeah, so guys, as a pool player is my account, Nicholas Renassi. As a streamer, content maker, YouTuber, vlogger, it's LuckBoxQ, where it says it on my
Yeah, yeah,
tag there. Q runners are one of my joint ventures with my cousin. I'm the brand ambassador to them. Custom cues, trading, pool cues, tips, accessories. Q runners is on Instagram and Facebook. Um, I also have my Twitch stream, LuckBoxQ, DAT, LuckBoxQ on Twitch. Shout outs to LifePen, which is a CBD vape pen brand here in the UK, in London. And also shout outs to London Snooker, who are most likely my main supporters for my sponsorship in terms of being able to practice, play tournaments, um, just in general, and you know, great club guys, great vibes. Tooting and Acton got top tables, so if you
Yeah.
want somewhere else to play
Yeah.
when you visit London, definitely check out London Snooker.
yeah, yeah. I'm seeing a
So
lot
yeah,
about that actually. London snooker when I'm on the social media myself. Looks a good place. When I'm down there next, I will definitely be checking it out myself. But no, look, it's been great to get you on, and obviously we wish you all the very best with your Q runners, and also for any future endeavours or
yeah,
tournaments
I'm,
that you're
I'm
going to
just
play in.
happy. I'm just happy to be here. To be honest, thank you for putting me on the darkSIDepool platform. I honestly was quite surprised that I got a little spot for interview. I was shocked, but I was like, I don't even know why I'm getting on here, but I appreciate it. But yeah, hopefully in the future when I am in a better spot, I will be playing more matchroom events. I definitely do have that on my bucket list to come back and get
Brilliant.
more informed and try to attack more matchroom events if possible, and
No,
not just the
brilliant.
UK. Like I'm willing to actually try and get travel time and more time for my family to be spending time with their family, my missus and my kid to spend time with her family. Where in turn, I can
Yeah.
also play maybe a matchroom event in the Philippines, hopefully. That's one of my goals. I'd also love to play in Germany. A lot of the UK lot love Germany so much. The German Open, GJ loves it there, and he's just going on about it's a vibe, playing Germany. So love to. America, I'm not too sure because that's quite hefty on the pocket. But we'll see. We'll see, man.
Yeah,
We
no,
shall
brilliant.
see.
Well, just before we go, one final thing I want to say to you. You got to get us that Buffalo blindfold shot challenge video on because I definitely want to see your
Oh,
attempt at that.
all
And
right, all right. I
I'm still
will.
waiting
I
for
will.
Gareth. I'm still waiting for
No, I will
Gareth.
do it. No, I
He's a
promise you.
wounded Buffalo at the moment, so he's not been playing as much. But I'll be getting onto him to see his effort as well. Don't worry.
Gareth's been cheating, man. He's been waiting to get that one shot that's clean. I'm like, I didn't go down
Yeah,
off
that's
Buffalo,
right.
guys. You know, he's
That's right, mate.
cheated, bruv.
I tell you, I've been itching to do it, Nick, but I tell you, I've been out. I'm really down, mate. I tell you, but I'll be back practicing again from Thursday, so looking forward to it, mate. But Nick, it's been great having you on, mate. You know, it's a coup for us to have you on here, mate, because you're great for the game. You're a great ambassador for people, and Nick, it's been a pleasure having you on here tonight, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, man.
Yeah,
I
I
really
second all
appreciate it,
that as
guys.
well. Yeah, really, really good to have you on, Nick. But yeah, well, thanks a lot, and like I say, wish you all the best for any future endeavours that you got coming up.
Thank you
Okay,
very much, and to the dark side as well.
brilliant.
Yeah,
Send us that video. All right.
Yeah,
Thanks, Nick.
you take care of yourself.